We are at Del Dotto, the Piazza location. This is the third location of the Del Dotto Vineyard Estates. We are going to go in, do a cave tasting, and have great wines. Cheers.
So we are still under construction here. This is the newest of our properties. 2017 is when this location opened up. You probably know a little bit of the history. Dave and Yolanda Del Dotto moved here in '88, bought the property that you guys have visited before, the estate location, started making really excellent wine. We've been able to expand since then. One of the things I like to say is that Dave Del Dotto is in the right place at the right time. You know, a lot of our 100-point scoring vineyards have been because he will be at a restaurant and someone says, I'm looking to sell this piece of land. And he's like, I'll take it.
It'd be nice to have that kind of income of like, oh, I just went to dinner.
Yeah,
and
casual, yeah. Without further ado, come on in. 2022 Napa Valley Cave Blend. So year after year, this is one of our more popular wines. This year, it's 60% Cab Sauv, 20% Merlot, and then the rest is a blend of Sangiovese, Cab Franc, Petit Syrah, and some Malbec.
So who's the winemaker for Del Dotto?
His name is Robbie Meyer. He's absolutely fantastic. I love working with him. His passions here really are the wines that aren't necessarily as popular, which is kind of funny to me, but he loves the Grenache. He loves the Mourvedre. He loves Syrah. And just a really, really intelligent, approachable, and fun to work with guy.
This is delicious.
Yeah.
That's so good.
So one of the things that sets Del Dotto Vineyards apart is that we operate in two mediums. We use French oak and we use American oak, and then we allow you to taste the difference between those two with the same exact wine. We get our barrels from Cooperage. We don't make our own barrels. There's a lot of wineries in the valley that do, which I think is pretty impressive.
Yeah.
The Coopers will work in all different types of mediums, and they each kind of have their own little flair. The Coopers will toast the barrels to these different levels of toast. So you've got a light toast, a medium plus toast, and heavy toast. When the Coopers toast those barrels, what they're doing is caramelizing those naturally existing sugars in the oak, and then that flavor adds a little bit to your wine. So if you're tasting things in your wine like vanilla or caramel or chocolate, sometimes even things like espresso or cigar box, those flavors are coming from the barrel. It's called a tertiary tasting note. So tertiary tasting notes are the things that come from the third process of wine making, right? So you've got your primary tasting notes, that's coming from the grape. Your secondary tasting notes is coming from the fermentation process. Tertiary is coming from the aging process. Light toast is gonna give you lighter flavors. Think vanilla, almond. As you go into a medium to a medium plus toast, you're gonna pick up a little more baking spice, maybe some caramel, some cardamom, cinnamon. And then heavy toast is those chocolates and espresso, barbecue, and that kind of thing. All of the barrels are toasted on the inside, the same, dependent on the level of toast that the Cooper decides to go with.
They do it. They just put a fire in a basket and throw everything on top of it.
But each Cooper has a different method. So some Coopers will kind of do a low and slow toast. Other Coopers will do a little more intensity in the way that they scorch the inside of that thing. It really just depends on the Cooper and the method that they use. The two different types of oak we use the French oak and we use the American oak. French oak is a lot older. The French have been preserving their forests for longer than we have. That dates back to the 1600s with Jean-Baptiste Colbert, when he realized that the older that the oak was, the denser it was, and the better that cannonballs would bounce off the side of warships. Now we just drink out of them, so that's cool. He realized that if I want this really dense oak, I'm gonna need to start this forest preservation program. So there's plenty of forests in France that produce this, but it's heavily allocated, so it's difficult to get. And if you're a Cooper who's getting oak from France, you gotta be pretty talented in order to get your
name into it.
Exactly. American oak is a lot younger, so if you're looking at 350 years old for your French oak, the American oak about 150 to 200 years old, but still has its own pronounced flavor profile. To kind of make up for that lack of age, what we have the Coopers do is put these little ridges inside the barrel. That increases the surface area that the wine is touching. So before we go into this room, I do like to talk about what makes this room so special. So Napa is the way that it is because we're so biodiverse. And when we go into this room, what we're going to get the opportunity to do is taste wine from each of those regions of Napa that make Napa Napa. It's just really special because it's not something you get to do often. So we've got some Howell Mountain in here. We have some Rutherford. We have St. Helena Mountain, Oakville. To get to taste from each region of Napa all in one room is something that people don't usually get to do.
We've been together for a long, long time. Time goes by so fast. Maybe it ain't been long enough to forget how it began. When I saw you walking down my street, didn't even know your name, but I got a feeling inside of
a side-by-side. D'Arnajou actually happens to be one of my favorite Coopers, so I'm very excited to quality control this one with you guys today. It will tell you a little bit more information on that barrel as well. So it'll tell you the level of toast. We have a medium plus toast here. As far as the American oak barrels go, Alana Fouquet is the Cooper in this case, and then we have Séguin Moreau. Both Séguin Moreau and Alana Fouquet have cooperages here and in France, so they are qualified to work in both mediums. AO is American oak. U-stave indicates it's got those U-shaped ridges on the inside that increase that surface area, and then a medium plus toast on here. It also says TH, that stands for toasted heads. So in addition to the staves of the barrel being toasted, the head of the barrel's toasted. That is a Missouri oak.
Okay.
And then this is a Minnesota oak. So same situation, medium plus toast, toasted heads.
Okay, so it is just a personal preference of the Cooper that
The Cooper just names it.
or-
Yep. In this case, those ridges are U-shaped, and in this one, they're actually V-shaped. Again, different Cooper, different method. So, which one do you want to try? Do you want to try the Minnesota oak or the Missouri oak first?
I mean, I couldn't tell you the difference between them. My experience stops at American.
Okay.
It's French, so being able to tell Missouri versus
Sure. My impression is the U-stave actually has a little bit more of like a mesquite kind of barbecue taste. We call it our bacon barrel. And the Minnesota is more of like an almond joy. So you're gonna get a little bit more like German chocolate cake. I mean, we'll try them both, but I'm right here. Let's do this one. You had the Minnesota oak. Let's get you some of the Missouri oak.
so much caramel. That's the first thing that jumps out at me.
Keeping in mind, the juice on the inside of these barrels is exactly the same. The only difference is the oak that it's aged in. That makes such an enormous difference. You can have the best wine in the world, and if you put it in a crappy barrel, you're gonna have some crappy wine. You know, especially for Coopers, they wanna make sure that the wine that we have here is worth their name because we highlight it.
I like this one the most.
Yes,
Like I just
100%. Oh my
it's just
gosh,
so
yeah.
much more subtle.
It is, and it ages better.
Personal preference, somebody
Mm-hmm.
might want more have all of the caramel
Yeah.
with my Cabernet Sauvignon.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
This is our Pinot Noir, and this is our 2023 vintage. And if you've heard anything about how delicious the 2023 vintage is going to be in Napa, you'll know that this is across all of California because we got a lot of rain for 2023. This is a really impressive Pinot Noir. The reason that this is a family reserve Pinot Noir is the clone of this is actually a very, very desirable clone of Pinot Noir from France.
Didn't see that one coming.
Yeah, it's a Rhone varietal Pinot.
It's good. Like it's soft, but there's still like more body to it because of obviously the oak that it's in. But it's a Pinot, so it's lighter, and it's like that's a great balance of both of them. I just love barrels and wood. Like going back to like ceiling on the inside of it, just seeing like the color striations of it is just so pretty to me.
It's a truly remarkable craft. The same way that there's generations of winemakers, there's generations of coopers. The name Cooper as a name actually comes, like the history of that is from when people back in Europe used to be named after their occupation. So if somebody worked with metal and they were like a metalsmith, then the last name Smith came from that. There's a last name of Baker. So you used to be named after your occupation. All right, so because we're at our Oakville property, we have to try the Oakville wine. This has become Dave's favorite vineyard. So this is the newest of our vineyards. It's showing incredibly nicely. It is right next to our villa that we actually rent out to our members.
So when I come up, I can just stay on the property.
Yes.
Stop renting Airbnbs.
Yeah,
Hotels.
oh, 100%. This being Valley floor fruit, obviously gonna be a lot jammier, a lot more body, but we'll see what you think.
I like this one.
The Oakville.
From those three.
Okay.
For me, it's just even more rounded. That like.
Yeah.
It does have a little bit more fruit, but it's not overpowering fruit. French oak is like the perfect. I mean, I love French oak. It's the perfect barrel to impart the vanilla of the toast. It's not overly fruity, but there's still some fruit characters. So like, this is a great blend. For me.
Oh, I'm glad you like that. Because this is quintessential Napa. This is Valley floor. This is what people come to the Valley for. came into this room, to our VIP cave, I said, I love this room because it represents a little bit of all of the different parts of Napa Valley, all in one room. If this room is representative of Napa, this barrel right here is Napa Valley in one glass. So, the Beast, it's our flagship wine. It is 100% Cabernet Sauvignon, but what you get out of the Beast is Cabernet Sauvignon from each of our best performing vineyards. 50% St. Helena Mountain Cabernet Sauv, 23% Vineyard 887, which is the address of our vineyard, 13% Oakville, 7% Howell Mountain, 5% Villa, so it does have the beauty in there, and then 2% Rutherford. There is beauty in the Beast, yes. This wine is complex, it's layered, it's rotund, it's got everything that you could ask for, all of Napa Valley, all in one sip. So let's give it a go. Yeah, take your time.
For a second.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Enjoy.
Absolutely amazing experience here at the Piazza Del Dotto. Alana was such a great host. She walked us through the cave tasting. All of those barrel thieves were just absolutely amazing. We are now about to finish with a food and wine pairing. We've got tater tots, sandwiches, pizza, charcuterie. The entire experience here at Del Dotto is just fantastic. It's so personal. When you are here, you are feeling like you are part of the Del Dotto family. Highly recommend it. Cheers.